Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. No mai, haere mai, and greetings all. As General Manager of the Parnell Business Association, it gives me great pleasure to welcome today's guest, Edwin Massey, as part of our series called Parnell Eco Bites, which are short and sharp topical conversations in the eco space. 8 to 10 questions, one presenter, released monthly. For this seminar, I was actually just thinking that, for businesses on a sustainable journey, very few of us are fortunate enough to be part of an industry that is a widely recognized, world-leading sustainability program and one of the first to be established in the world. How good is it to be a leading light for an industry invested in future generations and for one of our proudest New Zealand exports, wine? But obviously, this does not come without ongoing commitment to sustainable practices, something our guest Edwin Massey is very familiar with. I would now like to hand over to Josephine Rudkin-Binks, who is a board member of the Parnell Business Association and our sustainability champion, to introduce and interview Edwin. Over to you, Joey.
Oh, cool. Kia ora, Cheryl. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Ed. I've known Ed for about probably nearly 15 years and certainly leading the charge. So Ed is General Manager of Sustainability at New Zealand Winegrowers. Ed's passionate about New Zealand's primary sector and natural resource management. He's been in the GM sustainability role at New Zealand Winegrowers since September 2019. His current role champions the importance of sustainability for New Zealand's wine industry across 6 key focus areas. They are soil, water, plant protection, people, waste, and climate change. So kia ora, Ed. Tell us a little bit about New Zealand Winegrowers and what you're doing.
So New Zealand Winegrowers is the industry organisation that represents all New Zealand's grape growers and winemakers across the country. So we have a very diverse membership, everyone from a sheep farmer that would grow some Sauvignon Blanc in the Awatere Valley, just to the south of Blenheim here, right through to a multinational drinks organisation like Constellation Brands. And we're responsible for the New Zealand wine brand overall, when key elements of it include research, advocacy, sustainability, and marketing.
Awesome. And in terms of sustainability, what's keeping you awake at night?
Oh, look, I think we're going through a really exciting time for sustainability, particularly around the issue of our social license to operate. And one of our key areas of focus is working with government to get the amount of government intervention right to enable our members to succeed as a primary sector business, while also ensuring that our sustainability program can act to enhance our market reputation overseas. And that balance is always challenging. But we work really closely with government to get it right, and we'll continue to do so, particularly in the water and climate change spaces this year.
Awesome. And I know it's such a valuable export for New Zealand, nearly 2 billion last year. So clearly, it's absolutely going in the right direction. You're doing great guns. And so what's actually on your sustainability agenda for this year? So
one of the key areas that we're working on is in the climate change space, is moving from, we've got a 4-point plan: measure, reduce, educate, communicate. We've really been focused on setting up measurement through our Sustainable Wine Growing New Zealand program over the last 2 or 3 years. And now it's really focusing in on the how we can get our members to reduce, and focusing on that education piece as well, so that they can have confidence that the decisions they'll make will lead to meaningful changes in the short and medium term.
Awesome. And in terms of sort of your own personal sustainability agenda, sort of what's that looking like for this year?
Myself, I am really focused in on some of the waste minimisation initiatives that are active in our region in Marlborough. I've got 2 children, and obviously that comes with lots of potential opportunities to create waste, and so it's really looking at how we can minimise that while still providing what we need.
Yeah, awesome. All right, this leads into my next question around what actually drives you. Obviously, you've got 2 children, but what's your main motivator?
Look, I'm really passionate about natural resource management and that interaction between the environmental sphere and the socio-economic sphere. I grew up in Auckland overlooking the Hauraki Gulf, and through that love of the Gulf and our oceans, got into fisheries management. It was my PhD topic, and that took me down to Wellington to work for the then Ministry of Fisheries. And it sort of started my path on always looking for those different aspects of sustainability, whether it's biosecurity, whether it's fisheries management, or now in my role to promote sustainability across a whole industry.
Yeah, great. And what do you think holds people back from action?
Look, I think people get it, but they don't understand the how. And I think that is one of the key roles that we play as an industry organisation, is to give them meaningful advice on steps that they can take and decisions they can make, so that those decisions are well informed, so that people can actually plan. Okay, well, look, I don't need to make these giant leaps. I can take small steps year on year in that journey of continuous improvement. And that's really where we're focused in on helping our members to make those decisions around sustainability, to help them to make those little choices on what's the best way to reduce my diesel input in the vineyard? Is it to buy a really brand new electric tractor, or wait till one of those is available, or actually to make sure that I'm actually using my diesel as efficiently as possible? Yeah, so it's that how, and working with members who and people who might not be as well informed as you, but still have that passion to make a difference.
Excellent. And as you say, that education piece is really important. You've mentioned the New Zealand Winegrowers Sustainability Programme to us, but tell us a bit more about that and what that's planning on doing this year, where that's leading.
So Sustainable Winegrowing New Zealand is our sustainability certification program. Members, it's a voluntary program, members sign up to it, and then they provide us information to ensure that they're meeting the standards that SWINS, or Sustainable Winegrowing New Zealand, sets. And then to verify that information, we then go and audit each site that is SWINS certified on a 3-yearly cycle, and with an independent audit company. The key drivers of why you'd belong, well, our demographics are changing in that the market wants not just a premium wine. They want a premium wine that doesn't cost the earth. And Sustainable Winegrowing New Zealand is a robust proof point, being a world-leading program around how that fast-moving consumer good is actually produced. And so right from grape through to glass. And so we're confident that it can really communicate how we produce our product to the consumer. Secondly, it's essential that it really helps us with our social license to operate, and that we're very transparent around our production footprint and the environmental impacts of that production. And we work very closely with regional and central government to highlight and minimise that footprint. Thirdly, costs in the primary sector, and as with anything, are going through the roof. And by providing that individualised benchmarking back to members, we can highlight how sustainable decisions that benefit the planet can also benefit your hip pocket, which at times like this is absolutely critical. And so if we've got our program moving in parallel with our membership, we think we're doing okay, and we'll be looking to really particularly around that climate change space, to ramp up some of the education and set new targets between now and 2050 in the coming year.
Awesome. And I read that your 2050 targets include going carbon neutral for the whole sector and waste free. So yeah, really, really important targets to have. So keep that good work going. And who would you say, in terms of sort of companies, who would you say is really leading in this space, in your opinion, and why?
Oh, look, I think there are a whole range of companies that are really invested in sustainability. When you think of our membership, it would be fair to say that perhaps it is the wine companies, those that are closest to the market, closest to the consumers, that are really, I guess, telling their story, in much brighter lights than, say, for example, a grape grower would. So the grape growers will have that base sustainability certification through SWINS, and then the wine company will tell that story. In terms of brightest lights, look, I think when you look at any SWINS certified bottle of wine, you can be sure that it's the practices that have gone into producing that wine across those 6 focus areas: waste, soil, climate change, people, water, and plant protection are world class. And so look for those logos like SWINS certification or BioGrow, and any brand that has that level of certification, you can be sure is really making a real difference and trying to make more sustainable outcomes for all of us.
That's great advice, because, as you know, it's very easy for greenwashing. So it's really good to look out for that certification. And if there was one piece of advice you'd give a business, what would that be?
Look, plan for the long term, but act in the short term. Don't see it as one big leap to go from a non-sustainable business to a completely sustainable business. I think it's absolutely essential that you plan your steps out, get buy-in from your board, get buy-in from your management team if you have one, and really be proud of those small steps that you're making on your journey. Because if you don't celebrate that success on the way through, you lose the focus of the why you are doing it. And I think that's really, really important. You've got to have that understanding of why before you proceed, and plan it out, and so that you can, I guess, set your goals or temper your expectations to meet those goals regularly.
Great advice. Thank you, Ed. And thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and keep working towards those targets that you've got. That's really awesome for New Zealand's Inc. as well. So thank you. Kia ora, Ed.
Thank you.